Alright, hey, welcome back everybody. I'm about to get into hive number 1 again. I think I've come up with a plan for the 2 frames that have 1 queen cell in each, so 2 mature queen cells. So I'm going to make a split. However, hive number 1 still has the honey super on for probably the next 2 weeks. So I don't want to take away from hive number 1's bee population, which both of those frames do have a lot of larva, capped brood, nurse bees, so on and so forth, right? So I think I'm gonna move the 2 frames into the double deep there. It's just gonna be 1, but for reference right now. So the hive that's currently in the 2nd position, even though it's hive number 6. So I'm gonna move the 2 frames into the bottom deep here, and then let's see. This is like the shell game of beekeeping. So I need to put 2 frames into hive number 1 to get them their population boosted, so it doesn't take away from them, right? So I think I'm gonna move 2 frames out of hive number 3 into 1 that gets them right, and then essentially make a split out of hive number 2, who is queen right. And I have my queen clip over there. So hive number 1's parent queen is caged, so I'm gonna let her be. I'm gonna release her once I'm done with this. I'm gonna move 2 frames from hive number 2 into 1, and then make a split from 2. Crystal clear, right? So the camera's over here, a little further away. Hopefully this comes out okay. First time doing this and shooting from so far, but just because of everything going on, I'm just gonna leave the camera here. And yeah, let's get to it. This should be super simple. And before I went out of town 3 weeks ago, that weekend, all the 4 deeps that I have, there's a video coming in the next week or so once I'm done with rendering the wax and everything. But I ended up scraping 4 deeps of frames, drawn out frames, to render some wax and everything. So the frames are back in the boxes. The reason I'm saying that is they have wax still on them, so it should prompt the bees to get going a little faster than making a split with brand new foundation. So we don't need this box. Set that aside. So I'm going to look through this real quick and pick, let's see, we're going to do 5. So maybe pick the 5 best frames. And this is what I'm saying. I mean, it's not pretty, but it still has wax on here, so it should prompt the bees to start working it faster than new foundation. So let's see, I'll put those 2 in, and I think I'll pull 3 from this. So 1, 2, 3. So I'll need frames for hive number 2 as well. Let's do this. So those there, actually we'll set whatever frames are going into 2. So I have 2, 6, maybe I'll move 3. Okay, geez. This is why I was trying to make the plans out loud. So let me get hive number 1 situated first. So they need 2 frames. So I need to pull 2 from hive number 2, and that is specifically to get number 1 right with population. There's stuff everywhere. And I should use the queen clip and find number 2's queen first before doing any of this. So this is a nice frame. Capped honey, no brood though. So kind of conflicted whether I should use that or not. We'll just set that aside. The queen is marked, and I don't see her on here. However, this frame does have nice brood, so I may just use those two frames because this frame has a ton of brood. Probably leave this in here. All right. So I left the queen caged in number 1. Let me get her real quick. Yeah, she's still in there. You can see a blue dot. You can see her right there. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 9. They actually need. Oh no, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they just need 2. So yeah, the 2 that I pulled out from number 2, which is, this is one of them. That has a lot of nice pupated larvae, some food. Same thing on this side. This will give them a boost, so it'll kind of get them right back where they were. Put this back into this position. It's got a lot of nice food and pollen and everything. And same thing on this side or this frame. A lot of food. Yeah, more so just food. So they'll be okay with this. And then maybe we can get a cool shot of the queen being released. Since I tried that in another video today and the queen like fell out of the queen catcher and not exactly a cool video. Alright, here we go. We'll release her. There she is. Where's she going? Where'd she go? She's over here somewhere. She's about to crawl straight out of the box. Alright, let's get them boxed up. This camera keeps becoming unlevel. Alright, so they have their parent queen, so kind of simulating a split, not exactly the traditional way, because the traditional way you move the parent queen, and then whatever queen cells the hive developed, they become the split. Alright, so now, move the camera over here. Get it level real quick. I think that's level enough. Jeez. Okay, come on. There we go. Maybe? No, that doesn't look right. Hold on a sec. I think that's a little better. Alright, so number one is good. So I have these 2 frames over here from number 1 that have mature queen cells on them. So that's going to become my split here in number 6, actually, which is in the number 2 spot. So let me grab my pen, marker. You mark these frames, and I write queen cell or QC on the top bar directly above where the queen cup is. So I'll just write, oh, that's terrible. course I have a dried out marker. Great, well, that ain't gonna work. Okay, well, it's just gonna go right down in the middle. And then same thing on this side. And that'll go right in the middle as well. Alright, so now, using frames from Hive No. 3, let's give this colony a boost. So I do not have number 3's queen caged, so I'll have a clip just in case I find her. I think I found her on the very last frame during that inspection. Alright, yeah, so basically, if she's not on this frame because it has food and brood, more so eggs, which will retain the nurse bees. If I don't find her on this frame, which it doesn't look like she's here, that'll go in, so that's 3 good frames. And she's right there, so let's cage her. Alright, so number 2's queen is caged. This has a ton of eggs as well. And some nice brood. So that's 4 good frames. Probably, I'm going for 9 frames because in the next week or so I'll be pulling the 10th frame, usually the most outside frame on the right here, and putting a feeder in. So that's 4 good frames. Put this over into the center. I believe I found her on the very last frame, so let's take a look at that. That's typically a food store, but sometimes with the single deeps they start laying eggs in the very last frame, but no, that's more of a food store. Alright, so that's 5 good frames in number 6 now. That's 5 frames in number 3. So let's put the 5 good frames in the center. And then, like I was saying a few weeks ago, I scraped a bunch of frames to render some wax. So this still has a pretty nice wax coating on it. And I'm just going to fill in the blank spaces with these frames. So that's like what, 10, 9? Yeah, so let's slide all these over. And then just fill in the blanks. Actually, you know what else I can do? With this frame here. 1, 2, I need 1 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this can go in here, and I'm gonna shake, since I have the queen caged in number 3 behind me, I'm gonna shake some bees. Alright, so this has 10 frames, so that's good. Got the queen caged. You shake 2 frames of bees in here. 1. And 2. And let me put the lid on. And that's it for number 2. Or, yeah, right, number 6. That's going to get confusing. I'm actually going to start labeling the hives with some tags here shortly with whatever number they are. So that's an original frame, brood and all. And then the first 3 frames will be basically this blank foundation. Or, you know, you can see what I'm doing. Alright, so that's it for number 3. Made a split off of that. Kind of a 3-way split. Move frames into number 6 now, where the camera's at, and then used 2 frames to get number 1, you know, basically right. since they have a super on still. All right, let's release this queen, number 3. There she goes. Where's she at? She's right there. Should probably remark her in the near future. And there she goes. Okay. So, box them up. Things to check on in the next few weeks. Alright, so that kind of does it for the end of hive number 1's inspection and a quick split to make hive number 6, which is in the second position. So as you can see, you can take one hive and basically, well, whatever I'm trying to say. You can take a few hives and make a few more, I guess. Or you can take one hive and get 2 hives right. However you want to describe it. So now we are up to 6. Well, I take that back. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm going to give that about 2 weeks before I can call it a hive. So with how far along the queen cells are, they should hatch in the next week or so. And then it takes about a week to 10 days for the queen to leave the colony, mate, return, start laying. So in about 2 to 3 weeks, I should start seeing some eggs. If not, should be able to find the queen, and I'll mark her as well. And if I'm a little distracted, I'm paying attention to the swamp TT behind me, which bees will forage on, and it looks like a few are honeybees possibly. However, that is a poisonous plant. Let me show you what it looks like real quick. That is a poisonous plant, and if you read up on it on the internet, it looks like this. But it will result in purple brood. I have not experienced that yet. That is something I keep in the back of my mind while I'm inspecting, because the hives are in a swamp-like wetlands area, which is where that stuff grows. So if you have any and you see purple brood, that's why. Okay, so I've been out here for about maybe 2 hours. I am becoming overheated, and it is time to wrap this up. So check in next week. We'll take a look at all the hives for a routine inspection, and I think I will let this number 6. I think I will let that go for a few weeks, like I may have said. All right, that's it. Cole's Farm, July 4th. Happy Independence Day, America! It is a hot one here in Jacksonville, North Carolina. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel, and if you hit the bell, you'll receive notifications of future videos. We are also on Facebook and Instagram, and you can find us by searching Cole's Farm NC for North Carolina. All right, see everybody next week.